Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Vibe Recap Show. I'm here with my guy, Stafford Don. I miss him. He's usually on the Just Nick in the show, but I know life happens. So he agreed to be on the shows, particularly on the weekend when I definitely have more time. So I appreciate him being here. We're here to break down the Knicks preseason game against Minnesota. Listen, we can't really talk a lot about the flow of the game because it's a preseason game. The lineups, the matchups, you're trying to see players. So I don't really want to, I don't know if we can talk about how the Knicks lost the lead and how the Knicks didn't do, I don't know if we can talk about that, but we can definitely talk about players, what we're seeing from them, what we expected them to add to the game, to their game, whether we're seeing it or not. So I'm looking forward to having this conversation with Staffer and with the chat. Staffer, how you doing?
I'm blessed. Can't complain. I'm happy to be here with you this morning. I'm working nights now, so I can't be with y'all on a Thursday night. But shout out to the Thursday night crew, RJ, Jerrell, Tsunami, Geoff, everybody on the Thursday night crew. Shout out to the Queens Court crew on the Monday night. Tony
Yes.
Crow, DJ Shuttle, Sim whenever he could come through, the whole crew. So I miss y'all on a Thursday night, but I'll be here with the Queen all weekend. So y'all gonna have trouble anyway.
Listen, well, let me just go over the starters, and then once we go over the starters, then I could get your thoughts on the game. So the Knicks came into this preseason set 1-0. We beat Boston in that first preseason game. Timberwolves already had played 2 games coming in. They 2-0. We started our usual starters: Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Randle, Mitchell Robinson. They started Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Karl Anthony Towns, and Rudy Gobert. Your thoughts on the game, Stafford, and just your impressions or anything or anybody that stood out for you?
Well, first things I'm gonna start off is with we seen the same starting five that we thought that we was gonna see. Um, as usual, the Mitch, the Randalls, the RJs, the Grimes, and Brunson. And I thought we start off the game perfectly. We was going good. We start off with a good dunk by Grimes. He put the ball on the floor, drive to the basket. So that's something that I want to see more regular in him. I, Bronson,
I think
you know,
your audio is lagging a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Your audio is lagging just a little bit, but it's good now.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So and then I think
Yeah. Mhm.
Mitch looked real good also too. Um Randall, even though he went I guess like two for 0 for 2 in the first quarter with only
8, I
one
believe,
point.
something like that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think he was still getting trying to get his feet wet, so I didn't really too much worry about him. Um, but the one that surprised me a lot was RJ. 15 points in the first quarter, 3 for 4, 1 steal in 8 minutes and 35 minutes. That was very impressive. He was going to the basket. He was getting and ones. He was driving downhill. His jump shot ain't look too how I should say it wasn't too bad, but I think if he keeps on doing it and practicing some more on his jump shot, I think he could patent that. But overall, in the first quarter, going to the second quarter, I think the starting unit was good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, let me just bring up my notes here. All right, yeah, there we go. Um, I like what I'm seeing from RJ Barrett over the first 2 games. The efficiency is not there, and I'm not sure it's gonna ever be there. I've kind of given up on RJ Barrett as a shooter. But what I like is he's going to the rim and he's finishing at the rim. Then when he's getting fouled, he's going to the free throw line and he's knocking them down. Play to your strengths. That's his strength. The other thing I like about him is like he seems to be playing within the flow of the game. It's not like he's just out there on the island, by himself, backing up to the half court where he ain't passing. When he does that, he going straight to the rim and that's it. I just like the way he's
Right.
playing. I like the passes he's making. I like the way the Knicks are sharing the ball overall. So I really like what I'm seeing from RJ Barrett. I'll just go over a few other players and then I'll ask your opinion on them as well.
Let me see
You
one
know,
more thing before you even continue. Yesterday while listening to the pre-show, there was a lot of gripe about cutting, and we saw a lot of cutting and ball movement last night. So if that's
yes.
one of the things that you wasn't satisfied in the first preseason game, you have no complaints now because the guys were cutting, they were making plays, they were sharing the ball. So that's one another positive thing that I seen last night also too.
Yeah. And let's see how much that continues in the regular season. Because you remember last year during the preseason, the Knicks were playing at a faster pace. They were moving the ball. They were doing a lot of things. And as the season went on, our pace slowed down and we started to play a different type of game. So let's see, let's see what happens. I know on my game observation, I have McBride second, but I want to talk about Fournier.
Okay.
I really like what I'm seeing from Fournier as far as the shooting, as far as putting the ball on the floor, getting to the basket. I know people talk about his defense, but I like the fact that when he was in there, at least I believe it was in the fourth quarter, he was in there with a strong defensive lineup. I think it was quickly Hart, DiVincenzo, and Hartenstein, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what you do. If you have a player who's not a good defender, surround them with strong defenders. Every other
Right.
team is able to. Miami plays Duncan Robinson. They're able to do it. Everybody is not a lockdown defender, particularly these shooters. But teams are finding a way to get them in the lineup and play to their strengths. And I just think the Knicks need to figure, to figure that out. And the unfortunate thing is that we have so many guards on this team that if you stick to the 9-man rotation and you play Fournier, then somebody is out the rotation. If you expand it to 10, which I'm in favor of, that means these guards are going to get less minutes than they're used to. And I just think that's something that the coaching staff is going to have to figure out. I just think your best players need to play, your best shooters need to be in the game, your best you just need to find a way. So I'm okay with 28 playing. I don't think he's going to be in the rotation, despite the fact he's shooting well. I still don't see it. I
I
think they
know,
could
right?
showcasing him to for a trade. I don't think he's going to be in the rotation, but I will say he's making a good case. Your thoughts on Fournier?
It's funny, because me and this young man on the chat, we never agreed, but for some reason, me and Keith Turner agreed last night that Fournier might make a case for that two spot because Grimes and Dante is not really solidifying that spot right now. And as you say, once you put some defenders that could hide Fournier's efficiency on defense, he might make a case for that two spot. But as you said, I don't think he's going to make the rotation. But he did say that he's going to make it very hard for Tibbs to play him, and he's making that case right now. So as let me see the box score with him yesterday. I think he played. Uh, Let me see. Fournier, he played
I think it was 19
19,
minutes.
19 minutes, 6 of 10, right? He was 2 of 6 from 3-point line. And that's the thing that we need to a lot of shooting from the outside. We need 3-point shooting. So I'm thinking depending on the game, I feel like Tom Thibodeau could in certain instances of the game just to have some 3-point shooting out there, but it's going to be hard for me to think that he's going to crack that rotation, man. Unless there's an injury, that's the only way I might see Fournier getting some minutes.
Yeah, I agree. But he said he was going to make it hard, and he is, and he's making it hard. Let's move on to Grimes for a little bit. And I know this is a sore spot for a lot of Grimes fans, but I'm just going to tell you my truth around Grimes. I think he's going to be a really good NBA player. I think he needs a little more seasoning. And I think that him starting is partly because of what the Knicks don't have. I don't think there's no shame in coming off the bench if we had a legitimate option at the 2 spot. He was 0 for 3 from the 3-point line last night, and I'm not killing him, but I'm just pointing out next game he might be 4 for 5 from the 3-point line.
Right.
And so then you'd be like, oh, he's shooting 45% from the 3-point line, but with Grimes is feast or famine. He either hitting his shots or he's not hitting his shots. And he's not handling the ball. And I'm really not trying to be super critical of him, but I was really expecting a little more ball handling. And when you see Brunson, Grimes is not even in the frame. He's already up the court. And that tells me that he's not going to be doing a lot of ball handling as far as bringing the ball up the court this season. And I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's just the coaching staff. Just really
Well,
wanting the ball in 1 second, just really wanting the ball in Brunson's hand all the time, bringing it up the court. And you could see last night they had Anthony Edwards on Brunson. They had Nickeil Alexander on Walker on Brunson. Brunson is going to be really keyed on this season, particularly him bringing the ball up the court. Even if they don't steal the ball, you're tiring him out. You're taking seconds off of the clock because he has to work so hard getting the ball up the court because nobody else is. And now that could be a function of the coaching staff. And if it
right.
is, I have a problem with it. Go ahead, Staff. You wanted
Well,
to say something?
I think in a conversation that I heard Grimes or either was Tom Thibodeau, they talked about the next progressions with him as far as running certain plays for him, certain pin downs, curls. So I'm still waiting to see that if they're gonna involve him in the game some more. And so I'm as I said last night, I'm not really to not believe in the kid as yet. I'm not ready to throw him at the
Right.
side as yet, but he still needs to make his shots when he's open. And I feel like he's still rushing his shot. He's not setting his feet. I think when he making a shot, he don't need to lean in. He just needs to straight up and just shoot the shot with confidence. And I think once, as you said, he gets a little more seasoning, I think he'll get there. But I'm not ready to throw away the kid yet. But I think the only one of the reasons why I see Thomas keeping him in the starting lineup is because of his defense, not too much of his shooting. But I think
Right.
that will come around eventually. But I'm not ready to give up on the kid yet. But as I said, Fournier is making a case for that 2 spot.
Well, I mean, for me, when I say somebody needs a little more seasoning, I'm not trying to give up on them at all. I'm just saying that, you know, it's okay if there was somebody that can play the 2 position, it's okay when you have less than 2 years of NBA game experience to come off the bench. You can get your same 20, 25 minutes coming off the bench. That's all I'm saying. But I want to get to this comment by Dirty Dancer. Grimes starts to protect Brunson defensively. We need lower volume guys around our big dogs. And you're absolutely right. And just like we talk about for the way this team is constructed, Mitchell Robinson is the best center for how this team is constructed, right? We don't shoot well, so we need those second chance points. We don't have good perimeter defenders, so we need an elite rim protector. I think it's the same thing for Grimes. So to your point, Dirty Dancer, I agree and I understand. When you have these, RJ taking 16 shots, Brunson 17 shots, Randle 18, 20, whatever you don't really, you want somebody in that lineup who's not going to command a lot of shots. Brunson is not a good defender. You need, your off guard to be a good defender. I totally get it. I totally get it. So if you want to say the way this team is constructed, Grimes is the best option to start, I'm not arguing with you. What I am saying, though, is the Knicks can stand to have an upgrade at that 2 position, even if it's not on the team right now, and have Grimes come along a little more slowly. That's all I'm saying. I just feel like he's just not ready to man that position in terms of what I think we need, a 2 guard who shoots more consistently. I'm not talking about cumulative at the end of the season is 39%, but there's games where it's 12% and games where it's 60%. We need the ball handling and we need consistent shooting. And yes, we do need defense next to Brunson. And okay, he might be the best option right now. But overall, I think the Knicks need to upgrade that 2 position. And I'm no hate on him. Best option on the team right now, but still need a bit more seasoning, in my opinion. So thank you, Dirty Dancer, for that comment, because that does, help me think about it a little bit. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. So let's move on to Mitchell Robinson. I will get back to McBride and DiVincenzo as well. I thought I like the way Mitchell Robinson is playing in these 2 preseason games. He's playing really, really strong. One of the things I saw last night was defensive rebounding in traffic, like just going in there and just flying in there and getting a defensive rebound and just snatching it. We see him as a monster on the offensive boards. It was just good for me to see him be a monster on the defensive boards. And listen, there was some height in the game last night, and he was just beasting. So he's just stronger. The way he even got the rebound, and his foot was set, and he just, he pivoted on the foot and was able to get the ball up into the basket. I just like the way Mitchell Robinson is playing right now. Sherman, can we please start with how much Grimes shot in the second half of the season? I don't care. That you're making my point. There's some games where he shoots 20% from 3, and then the next game he'll shoot 60% from 3, and on average is 40% from 3. He's not ready. That's all I'm saying. He's the best option we have on this team. But in my opinion, you could disagree. I believe we need an upgrade. Every show you telling me how much he shot in the second half. I get it. I digress, though. Back to Mitchell Robinson.
Mitch, my highlight of last night was on Towns. I think it was in the 5-minute 30-second in the second quarter, where he ran down and blocked Karl Anthony Towns' shot. That was very impressive to me. I think Mitch is in season 4, man. Believe it or not, he cracked ESPN 100, right? He was the 100 person in ESPN 100. So you see that he's making strides. I know people say they will trade Mitch, you know what I mean, for anything right now, for Miles Turner, just because of the spacing of the floor, right? But I feel like right now I see him, as soon as he get the rebound, he's looking to go up with it, right, to put it back. Or if that shot is not there, he kicks it out, right? So, because yesterday I seen he got a rebound And what he did, he went right up and laid up into the basket. That's all I think that we are looking for from Mitch when it comes to the offensive game with him, is when he gets the rebound, don't just look to pass it out. Just go up strong and see if you can make an easy layup. And I think he did some of that last night, right? But as I say, I think Mitch is an excellent defensive player. He's an excellent offensive rebounder. I think we need that. I think he's very important to the team, and I think if he continues with that progression, I think he could probably make a first NBA defensive team if he keeps up with that type of energy, on the offensive glass and making block shots like that. Shots like that definitely changes the momentum of the game. So I gotta say, shout out to Mitch, man. But one thing I gotta say, he got to improve on his free throws, because I feel like every year his free throw percentages goes down. He gotta have a little arc on his free throws. But otherwise, I like how Mitch is playing, Queen. I have no qualms with Mitch right now.
Yeah, I mean, for what he is, he's playing well. Stafford, you got to give up on the free throws. It's just a wrap. I don't I don't think we can expect more. This is what it is. I agree with you that he could take his defense is already good, but I still think there's another level. And I think if he can hit that other level, I do think he has a chance to be on one of the all defensive teams. That being said, if we ever get an opportunity to get Miles Turner now, come on.
I know.
Um, let's talk a little bit about Randle and Brunson together. I thought both of those guys struggled a little bit from the field, but I'm not worried at all. Are you worried about Randle or Brunson?
No, I'm not worried about Brunson at all. Look, the guy came in. He had, let me see, in the first quarter, he had 6 points, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 of 3 from the field, and 4 free throws. And that was just in the first quarter. And given to the fact that he just came off Olympic games, did they not too much trying to ramp him up too much? But that's our guy right there, and I believe if it was a real game last night, he would have been in that game, and I think we would have won that game last night, despite it if it was a preseason game. But no, but I'm not too worried about Brunson. And as far as Randall, I still think he's still trying to feel his way with the ankle. I don't think he wants to ramp it up too much, because you see most of the times he's trying to facilitate more. I see him on the defensive end hustling. I think people will appreciate that some more. He's playing a little defense. He's hustling. He's running up and down the court. But I think he needs to slow it down when he's bringing up the ball and pass the ball precisely. Don't shoot bullets, because last time I think he tried to pass it to DiVincenzo, and the ball went right across his head. So he got to slow down as far as trying to play maker when he bringing up the ball. But otherwise, Randall is gonna get into that rhythm, and when he gets into that rhythm, I think he's gonna be unstoppable, because I think it was in the second quarter. I think he ran off for like about 7 straight points. I'm not, if I don't quote me on that, but it's still preseason, and I'm not too much worried about him, because I see that continuity with them in that first quarter, because he was leading with that starting 5 when we first started off. So no, I'm not too worried, but his shot will eventually fall, and I know people don't like too much of that ISO ball since Charlie Ward came out. with that particular interview on a show, talking about he don't like the ISO ball and it's hard for him to watch. But that's one of Randall's strengths, and think Tom Thibodeau is going to go to that strengths when he need him to with that ISO ball. So it could be a bad thing, it could be a good thing, right? And I feel like even though he's not listening to the outside noise, I think that's affected him a little bit, just a little teeny weeny bit, because he wants to show the people that he is a team player. He is willing to facilitate. He is willing to help the team, right? But when we need to go get that bucket in the paint, regardless if you don't like that ISO ball or not, Tom Thibodeau is going to throw it down in that block to him, and he's going to go get us a bucket. So I'm not really worried about Randall too much. He is going to come around. It's just his second preseason game. He might play in one of the back-to-back games and ramp it up a little bit. But let's see moving forward in that third game and see what happens.
Yeah, he was plus 11, by the way, for those who believe in plus who value plus minuses. I will say though that I would prefer not to see Randall bringing the ball up. I think I'm seeing it more in last game. Him bringing the ball up the court more. Where is the guards? Where are the guards, I should say, in helping to bring the ball up the court? Why does Randall have to bring the ball up the court? I just don't get it. And I think we're still seeing sometimes with the double teams, they're deflecting it. I don't know how much of that is him, or how much of that is just they just happen to get their hand on the ball or whatever. But we saw a few times with out of the double team a turnover. So other than that, I'm not really worried about Randall. Again, my preference is that he just don't bring the ball up. That's just my preference. Go down. Let's have somebody else help Brunson bring the ball, up the court. As far as Brunson is concerned, my only concern with him is that he's going to get a lot of attention this season. He got a lot of attention last season as well, but he's going to get even more attention this season. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, they put Edwards on him. They put Nickeil Alexander-Walker on. They're putting these good defenders on him. That's not going to change. Every game, he's going to have one of the best perimeter defenders on him. That means he's going to have to work to bring the ball up the court.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think that's something the coaching staff has to take a look at. But he's a very cerebral, smart guy. He'll figure it out. In terms of what they're trying to do to stop him each game. He'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about him getting run down a little bit, having to bring the ball up every single time.
And that's why
let's talk about
we make a case.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's why we make a case that we need to have another ball handler come up the floor and not have Brunson bring up the ball all the time, because the attention that he brings to him. And I think last year I did mention that to you last year, right? When we had when we was talking about that same thing, that we need another ball handler to bring up the ball just because of the attention that Brunson gets. So even if Randall brings up the ball, DiVincenzo bring up the ball, quickly brings up the ball, is just a different element when we get into our sets, that it's not really Brunson all the time that's getting the attention. I think that's one of the reasons why we brought in DiVincenzo also too, and hopefully that we could see Grimes make that step as far as bringing up the ball and initiating the offense. And we haven't seen that from him as yet. But back to Brunson, I definitely think that we don't want to really overrun him too much in the preseason. And I just feel like as the season goes on, it's going to get better. That's what I'm saying. I'm not really making it too much of a big deal to the preseason right now. But when you see that first 10 games, well, I shouldn't say 10 games. I want to see the first 20 games. and then after
Yeah,
I'll make my judgment from there.
yeah, I agree. I do want to say this about um, Grimes because I'm always looking to see which player is adding a little something to their game that we're actually seeing. It was just one possession though. He was wide open for the three. It wasn't even a closeout. He could have took the three if he wanted to, but he saw a lane to the basket and he was able to take it in, and I believe it was a dunk. So it was just good to see him feel comfortable putting the ball on the floor. That is not just if I'm open for a three, I'm going to take a three, no matter what, or I'm going to attack the closeout. No, I could take this three if I want, but I see a lane right here where I can get right to the basket, and he was able
Right.
to do that. So I like that. I like that. Seeing some growth, seeing him put the ball, um, seeing him put the ball on the floor. Let's go into the second unit now. Let's talk about Hart and Dante and Hartenstein quick. I don't even know where to start. You where do you want to start?
We could start with quickly. Let's start with quickly because I think he was the first off the bench,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, I think he was the first off the bench. I'm looking at my notes right now. Yeah, yeah, he came in, and then I think with quickly, oh boy, I think he's still trying to find his shot. His floaters wasn't hitting too much last night. I still feel like a little too much dribbling. Um, I think he needs to make the game come to him some more. Um, I know you was the sixth man of the year or the runner up for the sixth man of the. I don't think you really have nothing to prove. Although you're in a contract here, I think you just let the game come to you and be that star on the second unit that we need you to be. Because as you could see last night when the second unit came in, I feel like the offense kind of got stagnant a little bit, right? There wasn't too much ball
Mhm.
movement. And he was trying to get into his bag, trying to go to the basket, trying to get and ones. But if you see a shot is not falling, try to facilitate some more. Try to get the others involved some more. So with that being said, I think quickly needs to just relax, bring it down a little bit. Don't rush too much. Let the game come to you, and I think once the game
Mhm.
come to him, his shots will fall. But otherwise, I think he is in preseason form, right? And I think as the season gets better, as the season get better, I think he will improve. But I think quickly it is okay so far, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm not liking Quick right now. I'm not liking Quick right now. Um, he I know last season he got off to a not so good start, but then he really, turned it around. I wonder if I don't know, is he trying to find his role again? There was a time, like once he got it together in the second half of the season, he was so on point. I just felt like he knew his role was to handle that second unit, make sure he got us into our spots, make sure he ran the offense, pass the ball around. When you see an opportunity to score, score. I just thought he had the balance down pat in terms of when to go for himself, when to pass it. It wasn't perfect, but it don't look like it looked now. Now it just looks like he's just I don't know, just dribbling all around. I don't know. But what I will say is he went to the line 5 times. I think for his career, he averages 3 free throw attempts per game. So he was able to get to the line 5 times. That really helps us. That's part of how we play, getting to the free throw line. And he hit all 5 of them. He didn't shoot well. He always defends well. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be okay. But through these first 2 seasons, like if you just turn on the TV, you would just see just somebody just
Yeah, right.
You know,
And no, but Queen, the
dribbling
funny
on.
thing, that's the issue that we had with him 2 years ago prior, because he used to be dribbling too much. So as I said, as somebody said in the chat, the second unit is a little too clunky, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
he needs to, as I said, he needs to facilitate some more and get everybody involved. The Hartensteins, the Don Chase, and whoever is on that second unit, try to, get them involved some more, instead of him looking for his own shot. And showing you're right, when he did come into the game last night, the lead did dwindle down because it gets stagnant. He was trying to be the man, right? So we don't need you to be the man, what I mean? Because we know that you are a scorer, but we need you to facilitate some more and get the
Right.
second unit involved, right? Because the starters can't do it
Right.
all the time, right? You know what I mean? So he has to be that point guard that we need him. Not a scorer all the time, but he needs to get the other starting four bench scorers involved some more.
Yeah. Keith Turner, I disagree that Brunson doesn't get others involved. He is a scoring point guard. He's not a pass first point guard. Scoring point guards score. And then as the defense adjusts to them, that's when they find other people. He led our team in assists. He was top 20 in the entire league among guards in potential assists. He was top 20 in pass percentage. So he's not a selfish guy. He's not somebody that doesn't pass the ball. I will say this though. If I'm shooting 51, if I know when I get into the key, I finish in this spot at 50% of the time, I'm not passing it out to a three-point shooter who's hitting it at 30% of the time. I'm just not doing it. So
Agreed.
a lot of people, I'm not saying you, Keith Turner, think he's selfish. I'm not saying that. But there are a lot of Knick fans who think do we think Dame is selfish? Do we think Curry is selfish? He is a shoot first point guard. That's what it is for the most part in the NBA. Score first, shoot first, point guards, get others involved second. That's how Dame is. We can run down the list of point
Yeah.
guards. That's how they
Hmm.
play. It's just a few past first point guards um, in the NBA. So anyway, um, we are in the bottom of the league in assists. You know why? Because we're near the bottom of the league in effective field goal percentage. We're near the bottom of the league in 3-point percentage. We're not a good shooting team. If you're not a good shooting team, you're not going to get assists. You got to look at pass percentage. You got to look at assist percentage, not just the total of assists. We weren't a good shooting team. Anyway, um, and if Brunson needs to pass more, let me know who should he pass the ball to? Who should take more shots than him? Or who should he give up his shots to so that somebody else can take
Right.
more shots? Let me know. Let me know who that is. All right. Um, so we talked about IQ. Let's talk about Hart at the point guard position. I mean, excuse me, the backup power forward position. You could really see the height difference. Now, I don't know if that was just because of Minnesota. They had Towns at power forward. There was times when he was guarding Towns. I mean, Todd Towns didn't really make him pay because Towns stood outside hitting three-pointers, right? So he didn't really take advantage of it. Hart only played, I think, 7 or 8 minutes. Just your thoughts on him at that backup power forward spot.
Ah, boy. I think it's going to be a thing that he is going to play the backup four, which I'm not too really mad about, because if you really look at it, most of the teams in the NBA are playing small, right? And I'm surprised when I told you that last night. No, I think it was Thursday night in the chat, that I'm surprised that Willie Green is going to have Zion Williams play the center. That was a surprise to me, right? Because you could see that they're going to go small, which is going to be an opportunity for them to play more faster, right? So I don't necessarily have a problem with Josh playing the 4, but at the same time, as you were saying, I heard you saying the last night, I mean Thursday night, when you looked up most of the rosters in the East, they do have a lot of bigs, right? And that's where I feel like Sims or even a Brandon Knight or Roby, whoever go try and get that one of those spots within the 15 guaranteed contracts for them to stay on the team is going to be situational to that backup 4, right? Once their power forwards are big, right? Um, so I really don't see a problem with Josh Hart playing the 4. You know what I mean? Because he's a scrappy guy. He could play defense. But I feel when it comes to that big lineup, that we may not see too much Josh in that spot. We may see a little sprinkle of Sims in that particular spot, just for size wise, so we don't lose too much on the rebounds, right? But I really don't have a problem with Josh playing the 4 at all, because I mean, people may get mad, but that's the thing right now. Small ball is a thing right now, right? And that's what the league is going into, So, give him some rest. I liked what I seen last night. He only played a couple of minutes because of whatever nagging injuries that he had, and also the Olympic games, the FIBA games. So,
Right.
I think we'll be all right. I think people just making it a little too they making it a little too much of an issue, and I really don't think it's an issue in my opinion.
Right. I don't know about Sims as the backup power forward though. Sims didn't look great last night.
Situational, situational, just a
Situation. All right.
sprinkle, just a sprinkle. Because let's just say let's just say if it was, I'm just trying to make an example, right? Let's say it's Al Horford and Porzingis. We know Josh Hart can't guard none of those two because of the height. So he might sprinkle a little Sims just to offset that little bit. But at the same time, can Kristaps and Al Horford guard Josh Hart on the other end, right? So,
Right.
that's what I say. It could be situational at sometimes, for Sims to play the
Right.
backup 4. But as I said, I don't have no issue with it.
Right. And also keep in mind the backup 4, I don't think you're gonna see a Porzingis unless, I mean, I guess it's possible if they have him, still lingering in the game. They haven't taken him out yet, and then we put Sims in early. I guess it's possible um, that there'll be a few possessions where the backup Hart or Sims or whoever's the backup power forward for us overlaps with starters from the other team. But for the most part, they'll be playing backups. I don't know. He just looked really, really small last night. And again, that could just be because Towns was playing the 4, and Towns is huge. Um, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. I felt better about it when we were talking about it before the preseason. But now that
Right.
we're seeing it, I don't know. I don't know how I
No, but if you look at it
feel.
last night also too, Julius Randle was mostly guarding him last night until they made the substitution at the 4 minute and 28 mark when Josh Hart came in for Randle, right? So most of the games Randle was guarding Towns, and as I said,
Right.
whoever came in for Towns, I wasn't watching Minnesota rotations too much, but
I think it was
whoever
Naz.
came in for Towns, was it Naj Reid?
It might
Was
have
he the
been.
backup for yesterday?
Yeah, he was. Him and then
Okay, okay.
also Anderson.
Anderson, right?
Anderson.
Slow mo, slow mo,
Yeah.
slow mo, slow
Yeah.
mo. So
Played.
yeah. Look, I, I'm not really too worried. As I said, let me see the first 20 games. with that particular lineup and see how it goes with the second unit, and then I'll make a judgment call. But I'm not going to overreact too much.
Okay. All right. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. Let's talk a little bit about Dante DiVincenzo. He's, shout out to Geoff. Geoff, made a good point that he's the one that has to make the biggest adjustment. Everybody else has been here, right? Except for the non-guaranteed contracts. Everybody else in the rotation was here last year. So DiVincenzo has to make the biggest adjustment. I thought he looked a little better yesterday. He's, I believe, one of the league leaders in steals. I think he has been.
Yes,
I'll have
he
to
had a
double check
nice steal
that.
last night.
And
Yes.
he had 2 last night, and he does a really good job playing the passing lanes. One time he just stuck his hand in there and stole the ball from Conley. Maybe it was a foul, maybe it wasn't. But I think
Now
that's
that
what
was
we're
a
gonna
foul. That
see
was a,
from
that was that was a clean steal. That was a
that
clean
was
steal. That was
okay.
nice.
All right.
That was
All
nice.
right. That's what we're gonna see from him, and then he got beat on the wing, but he stayed in the play and was able to come from behind and block the shot, and he was on the floor getting like that's the type of guy you're gonna get from him. He's just from what I'm seeing, just an all-around guy, whatever you need on any he's like a Josh Hart with a jump shot. Just somebody who's just gonna he's an all-around player. What do you need? So he's looked okay. He's looked okay. It's gonna take him a little more time to find his footing. Just your thoughts on Dante.
Um, as I was saying last night, man, I wasn't too impressed with him last night, and I understand it that he's just getting familiar with the team. I had to take that in consideration.
Mhm,
Keith Turner told me that last night. He's just getting accustomed to a new team, so it takes some time for him to get adjusted. But as a vet, and he's been here um, for a while, I was thinking that he would have fit in a little more seamlessly, right? I think I felt like he would have been like gelling like real quick, right? His shots will
mhm,
be falling, he's
mhm,
doing things. But at the same time, I don't have no qualms with him. I like him on the defensive end. He had 2 steals last night.
mhm,
Um, he was initiating the offense a little bit, in my opinion. Um,
mhm,
but on that second unit, I feel like I'll go back again quickly. Stop dribbling too much. Get the guys in them involved. And I feel like once they get Dante involved a little more, then you'll see his shots going down. Then you'll see him getting more familiar with the offense, and you'll feel more comfortable. And then we'll really see that Dante that we've seen in Milwaukee, that we've seen in Golden State, and then he could really be that surprise person that we picked up in the off season that's really worth it for a team. Moving
mhm.
forward, because he's shooting 38 to 40% in in his career in threes. So we need that
Last
shot.
season from 3,
So
you mean? Dante? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I have no problem with Dante. I think he's still feeling out the team and see where his role is. But as the season go along and he gets more playing time, like in the second half, he had a lot of playing time, and he gets more comfortable. I think he's gonna be all right. But otherwise, I have no problem with him at all. His shots is going to fall, and he's going to get more comfortable in this offense.
Yeah. And I know he's not a point guard per se, but it wouldn't be a bad thing to have him running the team in that second unit and having IQ
Right,
playing off the ball.
right,
Wouldn't
right,
be
right.
wouldn't be let's talk a little bit about McBride. Perfect shooting night, 6 to 6 from the field, 4-4 from the free throw line. I like the fact that when he's in a game, he's been running the team. I really, really like that. His vision is good. He had an alley oop. He had another pass, to the wing for a shot. Um, he's really improving on that part of the ball, that part of his game, I should say. I'm not expecting him to be a great shooter. I'm definitely not expecting him to shoot 100%. But if that shot can ever start falling, and he had a few nice ones off the dribble, which I'm not surprised. When he played in West Virginia in college, that was his game, off, shooting off the dribble. Just your thoughts on McBride last night.
Um, my only qualms with Grimes last night, not Grimes, sorry, with oh my God,
McBride.
McBride. I had a brain freeze for a second.
Don't
My
get my connection.
my only Grimes with him last night is that he had a couple turnovers that I felt like we, even though it was garbage time in the game, he still gave up the ball like 3 times. I think he had like 3 turnovers or something like that. And that's where when Minnesota, ramped up the lead a little bit. So that was my only thing with him last night. He let them take the ball from him 3 times. It had a part where I think he tried to cut, and he and somebody ran into each other, and the dude had a breakaway, and he had a dunk, and then it had another time where he was on I think it was the left side of the the basket, and they basically took the ball from him. So I feel like that's a area that he needs to take care of the ball some more, if he wants to be that third point guard. But otherwise, I like his jump shot. He's improving on his
Mhm.
shot. Um, Although he was 6 for 6, if we get that from him, just that jump shot, right, going into that mid range, making that mid jump shot. He looks like he's improving on that. He has a lot of confidence, and that's what I like with him. His defense is always on point, always picking up the player at 94 feet as soon as they come. So that's always going to be McBride's staple, his defense. But as far as running the
Right.
offense and making a jump shot, that's what we need him to improve on. And once he does those things, I think he'll be a dangerous point guard, two-way point guard in this league within the next year or two. If he stays here or he goes somewhere else. But my thing is with McBride, take care of the ball.
Mhm.
That's what I want you to do. Just take care of the ball. But
Right.
otherwise, third point guard, I have no problem with him being that third point guard, but he needs to improve on that jump shot and take care of the ball some more.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it. Anything else before we just take a brief look at team stats and get out of here? Anything else we didn't discuss offense wise, defense wise, rebounding wise, rotation wise?
Um, I like Hartenstein last night.
Oh, we didn't
I
talk about
think, yeah, Hartenstein last night. You see if you could get him on that 3 point line and have him space that floor on the second unit, and he could hit those threes and what he hit in the corner last night. I think
Mhm.
I think our second unit with that spacing right there can be dangerous, right? Because we was talking
Of
about
course.
last year that we feel like Tom Thibodeau wasn't putting Hartenstein in that position for him to really show his skills, right? Now, don't get me wrong, he has done it because he has have him on top of the key, initiating the offense and making good precision passes. Because if you seen last night, that pass what he sent to RJ with that thread through, I don't know if you seen that
Yes.
pass last night.
Yes.
Beautiful,
And he put it
right?
in the
He's
spot before he got there.
right. So if we could have him in that role on the second unit where he can space the floor, make a couple of threes, right? He have the defense on him at the key so that we have driving lanes, right, for RJ and Dante in the second unit to drive to the basket. Because once you start hitting those threes, right, I think we could be a dynamic second half, right? So if he could continue with that progression of shooting threes from the 3-point line and opening up that lane for the other players to drive, I think that that second unit can be dynamic. But it all depends on quickly, again, as I said, distributing the ball and passing the ball and not making the second half too stagnant, right, when he is only trying to find his shot. So I like Hartenstein yesterday on top of the key, initiating the offense, making excellent assist plays, and also shooting that 3-point shot to give the second unit a little more spacing. So I like what I seen from Hartenstein last night. And at first with the Sims and Hartenstein combo, I thought it wasn't a problem, but last night when I really looked into the depth of the game, I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna work. Sims at the 4 is not gonna work because there's no spacing at all. He you know, it's normally putbacks and alley oops with him, you know. That's why I see it's gonna be mostly Josh Hart at that 4 spot, you know. But overall, I think Hartenstein was good. Sims, as I said, sprinkle him at the 4 when there's a big lineup. Let me see who else was that I was impressed last night with. Let me see. I thought they had 2 Sims on the floor last night with all that poofy hair, but it was Isaiah Roby, right? He wasn't too impressive to me. I still think I still, even though he played with what, 2 teams? What was it, OKC and San Antonio? And then after in the summer league, he didn't really show me anything. And then last night, he didn't really show me anything. So I wasn't too impressed with him. But let's see as the preseason goes on, because as we got 2 back-to-backs, and I know the starters is not going to play in the back-to-back. So we're going to see a lot of the Jaquan Jeffries and the Robies and the Knights and the Windlers and all the other right, and all the other, because I think it's 15 guaranteed contracts and 3 two-way contracts. And I think he's probably out. Is he signed to the Knicks on a 2-way?
Who's this? Which one?
Isaiah Roby.
No, he has a non-guaranteed contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so he's probably in one of the 15, but I think as Toppin and probably on one of the other 3 guys is looking for one of those last 3 spots, because I think it's 18 guys you can have, 15 guaranteed and 3 two-way contracts. So I still think he's fighting for a spot. You know, I have to see some more with these other guys, but that 3rd string, I'm not really too impressed. That's about it. Only McBride on that 3rd string was really, that's it.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about Hartenstein. I like the way he played. I don't think he's going to get a lot of 3-point shots on this team, especially in that second unit with RJ Barrett and Quickly. I don't even know how many shots he's going to get. But, you know, when it comes around and he's able to hit the 3-point shot, that really helps us a lot. And when he plays with that first unit, or even when he closes, I don't know if it'll get to the point where they'll trust him enough to hit a 3. But it's just good that he has that ability. So I want to see if that continues or if this was just a one game.
Well, that's the thing about it, right? As I said earlier, Tom Thibodeau has to put him in that position for him to make those shots. They have to at least run a little stretch, a little spacing on the 3-point line so he could make those shots. right? And I think once Tom gives him that light, like, yo, let it fly, I believe that he could do it, and we need that spacing, right? As far as as far as that, because I hear it a lot of times. JJ always say, Mitch clogs up the lane, right? So if we can have Hart on that second unit, or even the first unit, and he's hitting those 3-point shots, we're gonna have space for RJ. We're gonna have space for Randle. We're gonna have space for Brunson to work in that key in that box, and we could be okay. We keep the defense on balance once Hartenstein is dropping those threes, right? So we need him to improve on those shots. But I do get you. That's if Tom Thibodeau lets him give him that range, right, to have the ball fly.
Right, that's true. The other thing with Hartenstein these first 2 games is I saw him put the ball on the floor and take it to the rim
Yes, that was
once
impressive.
in each game. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for each of our players, are they doing something just a little bit different? And seeing iHeart put the ball on the floor, see him hit that 3, that was a little different. So let's see if that continues. Johnny Davis, appreciate you stopping by. Toppin didn't play last night. I'm not sure
No,
why.
he
I
didn't.
like Toppin. I like his energy. I just like his energy. I always say if we can get a high energy guy that can play the 3 and the 4, I would be happy. I think of guys like Herb Jones, Tyree Eason of Houston, just high
Right.
energy guys. They're just gonna come in and just throw themselves around and just be everywhere. I like him. I like him. Whether he makes the team or not, I'm not sure, but I like him. All right, let's go here real quick, and then we out of here. I just wanted to point to something. The team stats, the fast break points. What is that? 26-5. Now, I think the Knicks were. I don't even want to say middle of the pack. I think we averaged. I don't even know if it was 11, maybe 11 fast break points last season. It just wasn't our thing. If it wasn't RJ
Right.
Barrett going coast to coast, or if it wasn't Josh Hart going coast to coast, we weren't getting fast break points. Last night, we got 26 of them. Is
Mm.
that a new part of how we're playing, or was that just something that happened last night and don't get too used to it? But I would love for us to get some easy baskets. We're a half court team. We got every basket we get, we usually get over a set defense. So salute Ron. If we can get some fast break points like last night, that's great. Second chance points, 21 to what was that? 11.
Mm-hmm.
That was great for us. And points in the paint was pretty even, which is cool given the fact that Randall and RJ played what, half a game. Those are the guys who really and Mitch get points out. Well, Barrett was 26 minutes. Randall was 23 minutes. Hart was 7 minutes. These are points in the paint guys.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. That was pretty good. Um Where to find me next? Monday, 8:30 p.m. Queen's Court is back on the Nothing But Knicks channel. So be sure to join me there with Tony Crow from Knicks and Bruises, DJ Shuttle from 108 Soul. If you get an opportunity, check him out every Friday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., particularly if you're into old school hip hop and old school R&B. He really does a good job on Friday. Geoff, who's a panelist on this channel, joins me over there also on Queen's Court. I don't know if Ebony from Venture Sports Network, she may be on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be back Wednesday for the morning recap show, Thursday for the morning recap show, because the Knicks play
Back to back.
Thursday back to back. Yeah. They play Boston in Boston Tuesday night. and then we play Washington at home in Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night, and then preseason is over.
It's over.
Preseason is over. Any last words, Staffer?
Um, we need to lock down more on defense. I think we gave Minnesota 21 second chance points last night to our 21. And I think that
Yeah.
was mostly ending of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter with the C squad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're gonna give up that much going into the season. But otherwise, I'm not too worried. Let me just go ahead and say shout out to the chat. Shout out to Showin. Knicks are nice. Keith
Yes.
Turner, Pablo M. Shout out to Still Nick fans. Marvin Amerson, Johnny Davis, Kerry Cox, the regular squad, Teddy Cincinnati, Dwayne Dennis. Yo, we appreciate y'all coming through this morning, Sunday morning, supporting the Queen Dope Soul Sports Talk. You know what I mean? We really appreciate y'all coming through this morning, man. Y'all could be doing something else, but y'all here with us. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Hit that like button on the way. We got 46 in the chat, only 24 likes. So that definitely
No, it's the
helps
it's the
me.
AJ button. It's the AJ button.
Hit the AJ button.
The AJ button.
Um,
Shout out to AJ too. He's in the chat also too. Shout out to my
yeah,
dog.
yeah. And definitely salute to the replay gang who always, watch afterwards, drop a comment just to let me know that they watched it. I really appreciate it. And Keith Turner, I'm just being real. People look down on that nowadays. Yeah, that's me too. Sometimes you got to say things that's unpopular, but it's okay. I think
No,
we're a
but the cool
community.
thing
We
about
have
it
different
is
opinions.
nothing wrong. Is nothing wrong challenging somebody's opinion, right? There's nothing wrong with that. So if you could challenge somebody's opinion, just see where their intellect is at, and y'all can have a nice, clean debate. It doesn't have to be disrespectful or anything like that. So it's always good. Even with me, you hear me say a take, challenge my take, challenge my opinion, see what my sources is at. Because if I hear Queen say something, I'm definitely going to challenge her on it. You understand what I'm saying? And I
Yeah,
think that's why I love Queen, because there's no coddling around on this show. We're not gonna cuddle
right,
you. And Queen said it
right,
all the time. We're gonna keep it real with you. So you know what I mean? So if you make
right.
a take in the chat and somebody challenge your opinion, come back with that same challenge and see where they at. You know what I mean? Ask them where the sources is at. You know what I mean? Is nothing wrong with that, because all of us is trying to see where we can make this team better, and for us to be in Manhattan celebrating a championship, and that's what everybody wants. You know what I mean? So keep it moving.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Keep, because the chat is always spicy. You know what I mean? It's always
yeah,
showing going at somebody. Keith Turner going at somebody. Knicks 100 talking about y'all don't know what this team needs. I'm always here. So we love it. You know what I mean? Just keep it going, man. We love it, man. You know what I mean? We always love to challenge it. You know what I mean? And see where we could we could expand our minds and think about certain things all the time, because nobody is perfect,
yeah.
you know?
No doubt about it. And I do like it spicy. I do like it spicy. Sometimes I just have to hold myself down and be like, you know what? I'm gonna let that ride. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. But yeah, keep it real and keep it respectful. That's it. That's
Yeah,
that's how we do it here.
definitely.
And pushback is welcome. To be honest, I don't really like sitting on panels where everybody just says their opinion and people disagree, but they won't say they disagree. They won't push back. Everybody just like, oh, okay. I don't really like panels like that. I like panels where you're like, well, hold up, hold up, hold up. I hear what you're saying there, but I see it a little different. You don't have to be disrespectful about it.
Right.
Just I see, I just see, I just see it a little different. So I appreciate the pushback. And even in the chat, sometimes I push back against comments in the chat. It's okay to push back against me. I'm not offended by it. I'm not offended by it.
Exactly.
at all. I don't take it personal. Paris Duggar, who's not here today, he might be in the replay gang. I'm not sure. Get me tight in
Shout
these
out to
morning
Paris.
shows, real. But I met him at Legends. We was doing an MBK event, and he was there, and just the nicest guy. And we sat down and we had a meal together. And I wasn't like, oh my God, is that Paris? Because I know how to separate what we're talking about in the chat from real life and who you guys are as people, So
Exactly,
it's always
exactly.
a pleasure. Yeah. Salute to Paris being here. And I love the people in the chat with the dissenting opinions. Keith Turner is one of them. Because this is the thing that kills me about Knicks fans. Not those in this chat. I think those that's in this chat, y'all already know what it is.
Right.
But people who just want to be pom-pom Knicks fans, like, don't want to talk about the issues, what might not be right, they just want to talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna win 72 games, and we don't even have a starting point guard. I'm just exaggerating. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. So y'all already know what it is when you come to this channel. Keep it real. So those who
Exactly.
have
It's
strong
gonna be real.
about the Knicks, either way, you have strong opinions about the Knicks, either way, you are welcome here. And if you somebody that just want to hear positive things about the Knicks, this probably is not going to be your show. It's probably not going to be your channel,
Right.
But anyway, I appreciate everybody that's in here. Queens Court Monday, and then I'll be back here Wednesday morning. Until next time, family.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?